This, my friends, is not a video game. It's the world's first digital braille teacher.
It's the most comprehensive self-learning solution out there, and it's a very simple audio-driven interface. So what we're doing essentially is democratizing that aspect. We're kind of bringing on, equalizing it with the sighted child.
So you're basically building a library where robots can access information.
Exactly. Actually, I'd prefer the Matrix, where you have Trinity running away from Agent Smith.
Yeah.
And she wants to get out and fly a helicopter.
Yeah.
So she goes to the Matrix and asks for the information of how to fly the helicopter.
Right.
And she learns that immediately. Imagine if all our robots could do that. That's exciting, right?
That's incredible.
India will awake to life and freedom.
Shakespeare said, "We are such stuff dreams are made on." But for some of us, the dream isn't as beautiful as it is for you and me. And for such people today, we have something that will turn their dream into a reality. Let's introduce you to Annie. This, my friends, is not a video game. It's the world's first digital braille teacher.
Annie is the virtual persona named after Helen Keller's teacher, Anne Sullivan.
That's right.
Annie tells you exactly what needs to be done. The moment you go wrong, Annie recognizes what you did wrong and it tells you quickly, oh, what you should have typed was this. So if you want to learn how to type CAT, Annie will tell you how to type C, then it'll tell you how to type A,
and then it'll teach you how to type T.
Yeah.
And that's what an educator would do now.
So currently the problem exists because there's an acute shortage of special educators all over the world, and there are almost 15 to 16 million blind people and around 60 million visually impaired people.
So that's a ratio that can never be met. So how does Annie solve that crisis?
So what we've done is we let the child learn on their own. In a day, children get used to it. And it's a very simple audio-driven interface. So what we're doing essentially is democratizing that aspect. We're kind of bringing on, equalizing it with the sighted child.
So what was done before and how different is this machine?
Jan of 2016, we actually went to a rehab center for the blind in Hyderabad.
Yeah.
And they sat us down, they blindfolded us. They taught us Braille. And that was our first experience, and that is how we actually came up with the entire device. We came up with the teaching aids, we thought about all the things that could have been automated, and we put that all in the device.
Annie contains hardware modules required for teaching Braille, smart software to enable self-learning called Chalk, and pre-installed interactive content. Since Annie is a connected device, it can receive software and content updates over the air.
Recently, we deployed our solution, Annie, in a government blind school in Ranchi.
Yeah.
And I think the average time per child has gone up to 25 minutes.
That's a remarkable, that's almost 17 minutes more.
Welcome to the main menu. What would you like to learn today? Press the space bar to select your options.
So you have selected
Letter
English Braille.
Okay.
So you just go to select level
Letter
1.
A. 1.
So we can
You
feel
can
the
feel
dots
the letter.
and you can feel the same thing over here. See?
Oh, but this and this is not really the same size, is it?
So as a kid, when you start learning ABCD, you don't write small A's on a notebook, right? You take a big slate, you draw out a big A, right?
Yeah.
Place your finger like this. This is 1, 2, 3.
Oh God, 1, 3,
4, 5, 6. Yeah, you have to leave together. Yeah, you've done that right.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Wow, correct. Already an expert.
We talk about visually impaired and people who can't see. I feel blind today because I've been so oblivious to their reality, and this just brings you closer to that as well. Because when I was feeling the real braille print on the right over here, I was actually wondering how sensitive their fingers are. And then you realize how smart they actually are. Well done, guys. Well done. Well done. Hey! You know what? The internet is a really special place. Here, you and I can share information. And if we're looking for something more, we can always go and bury our nose into a book in the library. But spare a thought for the robots. What do they do? Well, I have a solution. It's a library that's meant only for the robots. Let's take a look. Remember the film Total Recall? It was made for you and me to enjoy, but one man stole an entire idea from that film. Yeah. Dhananjay, how are you living this life being somebody who's stolen an idea? You're like the Anu Malik of technology.
Sure, I mean, the idea is great. Actually, I'd prefer The Matrix, where you have Trinity running away from Agent Smith.
Yeah.
And she wants to get out and fly a helicopter.
Yeah.
So basically what happens at that point is she doesn't know how to fly it.
Right.
So she goes to the Matrix and asks for the information of how to fly the helicopter.
Right.
And she learns that immediately. Imagine if all our robots could do that. That's exciting, right?
Yeah, it is. So you're basically building a library where robots can access information. If they don't have something, they just go here and they find it.
Exactly. Building a robotics application often involves putting together components of different kinds, such as hardware devices and algorithms and software in the cloud.
Right.
What we have here is a simple arm, right? And what you want to do as a roboticist is sort of write some kind of application software that allows you to manipulate all these things. So you could have different kinds of hardware. Once you have all these things running,
yeah,
you want to collect and visualize some of this data, and you might want to manage devices remotely right from the web browser, and that's really cool.
That's incredible. So how many robots do you see in the future attached to your library?
So one of the main things that you want to do is use different kinds of robots together with sort of the same control algorithms. And here we have an example where the user is sitting in a remote office.
Yeah.
And there are different drones, different kinds of robots, different ground vehicles moving around. And this allows you to compose behaviors that were thought impossible with robots earlier.
And who supplies this information there?
The information can be supplied by people, the developers who write the applications,
yeah,
and the robots themselves. So the idea is a robot could learn from each other, right? It's the natural sort of progression of having machines connected. We're already moving to where your refrigerator and your car are connected to the internet.
That's right.
Taking the next step forward is when machines can use this information and actually manipulate the environment around them using that information rather than just collecting it. Machines would automate stuff that we don't want to do, partake in economic and social activities to overcome labor shortages in markets where you don't have people to perform these activities, and become aids around us. Basically, take over functions that people would perform and help them do it better, aid them, right?
So I'll tell you what, we'll let the robots take over for now because they're here to support and take over things that we do.
Yeah.
Dhananjay, you go that way, I'll go this way, and
Sure.
let the robots take over. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, be it in tech or in real life. We will keep bringing you a step closer to technology right here on Tech Probe. Thanks for watching. Catch a new episode of the Tech Probe exclusively on the India Times Facebook page. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.